Excellent. Okay. This is essentially, it's sort of a conceptual briefing of something that's actually running in Australia at the moment and starting to head into Asia. It's called virtual cross-connect fabrics. Now, for many years, keyboard. Okay, so for many years, most ISPs will know about IXs and internet exchanges and multilateral and bilateral peering. So this is kind of a new thing, but not. So it's using basically VLANs. So think of as VLAN peerings, where the reason we call them virtual cross-connect fabrics is that think of a whole bunch of customers just getting to a switch, and rather than doing layer 3, they're doing layer 2 cross-connects to each other. So ISPs have been doing this kind of thing for a long time, but in Australia it's now starting to happen with enterprises. So the trend in the world at the moment is to consume things on demand with no contracts and very quickly. So, and with scalable infrastructure, buy as you go, like Amazon, where you spin up servers and spin them down when you need them. So this is really nothing revolutionary in network infrastructure. It's quite revolutionary in productization. So I'm just giving you a bit of a briefing, as in haven't heard of it too much, and it's outside the Australia, and it's about to launch in Singapore and then Hong Kong in the next few months, with a couple of providers, and with one provider that I'll go into in a second is already in multiple countries in Asia. So what is a VSE fabric? It's basically a layer 2 brokering system using VLANs, extreme high speeds. So most buy-ins are at around the 10 gig range. On-demand provisioning, so with web portals, 60 seconds, and you've got 10 gig cross connects and things like that, and it's very, very easy to use. So this is kind of what it looks like. So think of a layer 2 fabric like just a large big switch. But normally a switch is inside an organization. Imagine a switch that many organizations shared and could create VLANs to each other on demand. So you've got examples here of compute storage. So in Australia, people like AWS are already online. Azure is just coming online, and you can actually do a cross connect from your own network over the fabrics and straight into Amazon, and then to their compute space. So you're not using their internet, you don't have to use their internet, and you can use it as your capacity. So the current fabric providers in Australia are Megaport, IX Australia, and PACnet, and I believe NextGen's coming soon. They've sort of announced that it's coming, but haven't given us details of when it's arrived. Now, Megaport is in most of the east coast of Australia, and I think they're going west coast soon. Generally, the way it works with Megaport is that across all the data centers, so Global Switch, Equinix, there is a fabric that if you are on this fabric, you can create a VLAN to each other for a single small price on a per day basis. So like $20 per day will buy you up to a 10 gig cross connect. So this is basically on demand. PACnet is kind of like a private virtual cross connect fabric, and you can even create a link from, say, Sydney to Tokyo or to Singapore on demand. So what can you buy today? People are buying transit, Tails, any hosted platform, call, voice, desktop as a service. I've got one customer that has a Megaport cross connect into Amazon and is hosting over 700 desktops on Amazon Workspaces, and giving everybody just Chromeboxes and things like that to be able to access them. Storage as a service, security, VPNs, video conferencing, load balancing, anything that is really multi-tenantable. So what can you sell? Now, the interesting thing about some of the public VXC fabrics is that everyone who is a customer can be a supplier. So if you can buy, you can sell. So anything that is multi-tenantable that supports VLANs, you can sell to someone else over this fabric. So this is a little view of the provisioning from PACnet type of view and Megaport, to be able to sit there with the slider going, I want 1 meg, I want 10 gig. I want the duration, I want the latency, and I want the locations from this location, say Sydney to Singapore, Hong Kong, Tokyo, so Los Angeles to Hong Kong, anything you want on demand. No waiting for provisioning. Megaport's the same thing as you see there. I pick my port, I pick the VLAN I want, I pick the partner that I'm trying to connect to, I pick the speed, I pick the duration. You'll see the price there for a 1 gig VLAN for a single day is $20. Now, this is generally intrastate, so if you're in the same city between any data center where another person is on Megaport, you can create that on demand. If you're doing intercapital, like from Sydney to Brisbane, it's a per meg, so like $2 or $3 per meg for that duration. So that's how easy, and Megaport, I'm not sure how long it takes to provision PACnet. I think it's pretty much on demand, but Megaport is 60 seconds, and I can do that same thing from my smartphone app. Now, just in Australia alone on Megaport, this is an example because PACnet's kind of private, so everyone who's on PACnet can kind of talk to each other, or you can build your own infrastructure across them. There's many, many people, including international. So if I want to buy a tail in India, I can talk to Tata or a PACnet or some of the other people that are in Asia and deliver a service to Sydney across these fabrics without actually having to provision physical cables to them. Now, this is one of the interesting parts. In Australia, the base fee of $500 gets you on. That's a 10 gig interface, so $500 per month, includes MLPA, multilateral peering for free. There's 40 gig and 100 gig options. VXCs are connection price and speed agnostic. They don't care if you provision 1 meg or 1 gig. The price per month is $200 or $20 a day. They don't actually care what you provision. The initiator pays. So if you have a multi-tenantable service that you want to have hundreds of people connecting to you, you pay your base fee and you're on. And everyone else pays to connect to you. And the other big thing there is no contracts. So why should you care? This is the future, one of the futures of enterprise delivered services. Megaport's first public, PACnet's more private, IX Australia is coming online, NextGen soon. Megaport's launching in Singapore and Hong Kong in a couple of months. Penn is already in 10 countries and 14 cities, and you can do this if you use their infrastructure. It is extremely simple. If you can do VLANs, you can do this. In the next 1 to 2 years, there are going to be multiple more providers, and it's the US and the UK have already shown interest in this way of doing things. And that's virtual cross-connect fabrics.
Thank you.